Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be building a new quadcopter, and this one's going to be pretty much a beast, as I believe. It's going to be an absolutely insane one. So for example, let's just talk about the motors that I'm going to be using. I'm actually going to be using the T-Motor F60 version 3. These are 2500 kV, so these just came out not too long ago, and they also just came out with some newer ones. However, these were marketed as waterproof, which is pretty crazy, but they're all waterproof. Every motor is waterproof. But if a motor is not waterproof, that means it had some kind of a defect in it. Just a little heads up. So you can see here the wires are pretty long, they're pretty thick, so it's going to be pretty good. This should perform absolutely crazy. Like insanely crazy, because I've tried the F60s before. Those were sick, and these should be just absolutely insane, and hopefully they don't ruin our batteries. So this is what we're going to be using. We're going to be using the T-Motor F60, the version 3, 2500 kV, the new Diatone 2018 True X frame here, and for flight controller, I've gone ahead and salvaged a Racerstar Star F4S. I do love these. I'm still waiting on mine to come in. I just ordered 2 of these and 2 of the F3s, and I'm in love. They're really good, and for the price, it's just going to be insane. It's going to be a very, very clean quad. It's going to be a very clean stack inside. Now, something to take into consideration, this only takes micro-sized cameras, and what I'm going to be using is this Chinese Runcam, and I believe this is from the same manufacturer as Runcam. However, it's cheaper. It's only 20 bucks. It's a CCD. Everything, everything is exactly the same, other than the size of the lens and this plastic thingy, and that's it. And this is a 16:9 camera, so it's pretty cool. I'll leave a link to this down below. I'll leave a link to everything down below. Now for VTX, I'm gonna do something a little bit different this time. I have these AKK, which sent these to me, and you might say, oh, this is the Race Day Quads clone, but it's not. It's from the same manufacturer. AKK is the manufacturer, and Race Day Quads just does OEM there, so that's just something to take note of. So this is not a clone, and yeah, just clarify that. So it's just going to be basically a 2-stack, and we're going to have an XM Plus receiver, and we're done. It's that simple. It's going to be insane. So right now I'm debating on whether to power up the camera through the VTX or through the flight controller here. So I think I might actually power them up through the VTX. I think it's going to be a little bit better. Alright, so let me go ahead and prepare everything, and let's get started. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and begin. I've already started my soldering station. I'm just going to add a little bit of solder on it. And we're going to touch up all these pads all over again. Just to keep it nice and clean, because this was a salvage board here, and I love this board way too much. Alright, so let's go ahead and we're just going to start retouching up the ESC parts here as a start. Just add a little bit of solder, make them nice and shiny again. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and do the Xt60 connector now, and I'm setting up my temperature here to 450 degrees Celsius. This way it'll heat up a lot faster and then just pick up a lot faster and be better off for us. So let's go ahead and retouch this together. Make sure the tip is clean here. You see that, how fast it's going? So we just want to just add a shitload. And we need to be careful because there's a hole on the bottom that'll just seep through. So you don't want to put too much. I just remembered actually. So you see there's 2 holes right there. Alright, so this should be pretty good. We're going to go ahead and grab some hemostats here. Where's negative? There's negative right there. Now you need to take this into consideration because this is very important right now. You want to, when you put your Xt60 connector, you want to take into consideration because the USB is right there, this is the only thing I hate on these boards, is the placement of the USB is just total crap, and we have to figure out the best way to kind of do this. So I'm gonna kind of go off on an angle like so here. You want to hear that beautiful crunching sound. You don't want to slip, that's for sure. Nice. Okay, so we have our negatives in. Let's do our positive here. So as you can see, it's kind of spaced out here, so it won't get in the way of the USB, because I've had that issue before, and it's very annoying. At the same time, I want to keep into consideration if our frame is going to close or not, because this is a very tight build here, very tight. So let's go ahead and set this up like so. Come in. Alright, that's beautiful. Awesome. So in theory, this should go down here, and it should not get into the way of our USB, as you can see right there, which is perfect. Awesome. Alright, so that's done. Let's go ahead and kind of double check if the frame's gonna get in the way or not here. So this would be like so. Oh no, we're perfect. We're totally fine here. So that's awesome. Alright, so that's done with. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring the motors, and we're just going to start soldering in the motors, and after the motors are done, or should we just do the wires and get it over with? No, let's do the motors. So we're going to do the motors first now, and then from there we'll just take it and we're basically done. All we need to solder is for the VTX, and then the camera, and the receiver, and we're done. I love these boards, they're just awesome, and they do perform, which is a hell of a big plus. Alright, so let me go ahead and prepare the motors on the frame, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead and put the motors. However, there's something to take note of. These motor screws are absolutely tiny that came with the T-motor, and our arms are 6mm, so yeah, there was no way in hell they were going to fit. So I had to go ahead and search for some M3 screws here. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I've put a heat shrink here, blue, just to keep it with the overall theme of the frame, kind of. So I haven't shrunk it just yet, we're going to shrink it in a bit. So as you can see, we have a little screw right there, so I'm going to have the first wire actually go around it. And we're going to go ahead and install that one, just like so. Just like that right there. So give it some extra slack, because the wire will get hard in the beginning. So we're going to cut around here. I believe it's going to be best. And don't worry, there's no real orientation of how these wires are supposed to go. You can always flip it in the software, or you can also go ahead and just switch out any two wires, and it'll flip the rotation of the motor, so you don't have to worry in that perspective. So let's just go ahead and add some solder to this guy right here. Alright. See how we want this guy. So we want him to go in like so, and then pop up and be there. Alright, so here's our first guy, which will be like so. Alright, we're going in for the kill. Beautiful. Let's see how that came up to be. So in theory it's supposed to be like this. And there's our first wire. So now we're going to add our second wire. Also going to have it be right there. Seems good. I love silicone wires. They are, I think, one of the best inventions ever. Awesome. awesome. Let's grab our second one now. If you're curious about my soldering station, the previous video was about it. I've had this thing for over a year now, and it's just insane. It has everything. It has a multimeter, has a power supply, so we can just apply power from our soldering iron here. It's like built-in power supply thingy, and we can just go ahead and debug and see if it's working or not. It's pretty cool. You can do a lot of crazy stuff with it. Seems pretty good. Let's add some solder to this guy right there. So I think we're gonna power off the camera with from the VTX. I think it'll make our life a little bit easier. I'm not sure. But I'm just curious because I also want to test the onboard filtration, if there is any on that VTX. Alright, so we finished one motor. Awesome. Just take a look. Nice. Even if you want to do that, it's not nice. But there you go. So it's awesome. Let's take another look at it here. So I'm pretty satisfied. I'm pretty happy with that. Looks very nice, actually. So it's gonna look even better once it's complete. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and skip over the rest of the motors, and I'll be back, and then we'll take it from there. So now we're going to get the VTX, and the VTX we're going to need power, and we will need to set up the camera. I've already gone ahead and installed the camera. It's right here, as you can see. It's very nice. It's very minimal. It looks very empty, this whole setup here. So let's go ahead and start soldering the wires for the VTX. So let's just grab the wire here. And if we plug it in here, as you can see, I mean, they're pretty much color coded. So these will be the power to the whole VTX right here. So we're going to give them power from right there. And this would be, the yellow is the video in from the camera or the OSD. We're going to put it on the OSD. And the red and the black are the, what is it called? The power for the camera. We're going to give it power. We're going to give power to the camera from this guy. And what else do we have? And this would be for smart port, this green one, if you want to be able to change your VTX through the Flight Controller and Flight OSD. You can do that with this green wire here. However, I'm not going to install it because I don't want it, so I'm not going to install that. And let's just start with the power now. So let's go ahead and remove this, and we're just going to cut it like right here. It's going to be good. There we go. And they are silicone, they're very beautiful wires. Alright. Very tiny wires, which is very good. You don't need some big massive wires here. This will do the job just fine. Alright, so we're going to have to put them here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually increase my temperature here to 450 Celsius on my soldering iron, so it can melt and pick up pretty quick. So I'm waiting for it to heat up because I just dipped it in some water to clean off the tip, so just give it that little moment. And meanwhile, let's just fix up the cam a bit here. Alright, let's start with the positive here. It's going to be more than good enough here. Let's do this guy now. Alright, so we have power to the VTX here, and that should be good. Now let's just take a look at the wires here. So, okay, we don't want the green one, so let's go ahead and just completely remove the green one. Actually, before that, we're going to cut this whole piece off right here. So, that's, yeah, cut everything off. Alright, so we're going to remove the green one. I don't want to risk cutting the other wires next to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop it out. There we go. So now we're done here with the wires that we don't need. So what we need now is we're going to actually separate the yellow wire, because this yellow wire, usually this would go to camera, but however we have OSD here and we're going to set it up on the OSD. So where is the video in? Video in is right there, if you can see that. So it's video in right there, and then we have ground and then video out. So we need video out actually, and video in goes to the camera. So we're just going to solder this guy right here to video out. And how long do we need this? This is going to go in like so. So I'm going to cut this guy up to here. Should be plenty enough. So let's go ahead and do this one together. So that's the video out right there. Which is VO. Alright, so that's in. Let's go ahead and grab the camera wires. So this is the camera wire if I remember correctly. I'm just going to quickly double check this is it. Yes, that's it. 5-volt ground video. Correct color. Alright, so this guy is what we will need for our camera, and we're going to give it positive from here, but first let's actually cut this guy in half. There we go. We're going to put the video in to video in, and then worry about the ground and power for the camera. So let's go ahead and do that. Beautiful. Alright. Add a little solder to this guy. For a second I thought I wasn't recording. I would have slapped myself. So we're going to go on video in right here. Be very, 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 very careful, because the other day I popped a capacitor off and I had to put it back. That's why the board doesn't look so good. Alright, so these are going to be our power for our camera, so let's just go ahead and just clean these up like so. Okay, and we don't want this to be too big, so let's just bring this guy, plug him in, put him in. Okay, so that's pretty clean, the wire management so far. Camera is perfect, long enough. So now what we need to do is connect these together here, these powers. And then all we have to do is just solder in the receiver, and we're good to go. That simple. Let's just clean up the wires here, do the same kind of thing here, just twist them. It'll keep them nice and clean, and it'll allow them to tuck on themselves. So, which is very nice also, especially with these silicone wires. Okay, so that's good enough. So we're gonna need some heat shrink to, once we put these guys together, and let's go ahead and strip them now. Okay, beautiful. Perfect. Okay. Then, since we already did red, let's just go ahead and put these guys together. Okay. And you see how the soldering tip looks like now? It's not a nice, pleasant look. It's because we forgot it on 450. And this is how you ruin solder tips. So I'm just going to drop it down to 350, and I'm going to put a little solder on it while it cools down, and then just clean it up a bit. Because this is not lead-free solder, this is lead solder. So, you know, higher temperatures just burns it and makes it all disgusting. Okay, so these are good now. So we can go ahead and do this to it. Okay, very nice. Let's grab our black heat shrink here. First, let's just do this to the wire. Alright. So we're just going to put these two now. So this is power to our camera from the VTX. So we're going to be powering our camera through this VTX because I want to see how good this VTX is and if it has filtration or it doesn't. And I'm not going to be installing a low ESR capacitor as a beginning test on this whole setup here because I want to see how it's going to run. Let's just add some solder now. This guy. By the way, it's snowing, and I wanted to go fly the waterproof quad, but I don't know what happened. I just didn't go. Okay, so let's just get our hot air going here. Don't want to burn my hand. So we're just shrinking the heat shrink here. It's so satisfying to watch it. But it's not satisfying when you burn your hand. And it just pisses me off. Alright, so that's good. So basically we're done with the camera. And yeah. So the camera's done. VTX is done. What's left now? The receiver. So let's go ahead and prepare the receiver. Let's remove this guy. So we're done here. That should be it, really. Should we test it real quick before we go any further? No, let's just finish and then we'll come back and test everything. So we're going to be using an XM Plus here. I bought a bunch of them if you've been watching the channel because I love my QX7. And FrSky, if you're watching, I know you're watching my videos. Where did the heat shrink go? Where did the clear heat shrink go for these? Really? Are you guys really going that cheap on us? I mean, it doesn't hurt to provide this with it. It actually makes it more pleasant to work with. Anyways. So I always forget which one's S-Bus and which one's not. Piece of crap stickers. Alright. So S-Bus is this square, then it's 5 volt, and then it's ground. Alright, so that's awesome. Look at this. This was left over. These are silicone. This was left over from our VTX cutting right now. So in the camera. So we're gonna use yellow for S-Bus. We're gonna use ground for ground. We're gonna use power red for 5 volt. And that should be beautiful. Alright. So let's go ahead and add some solder on this guy. I hate that smell. Alright, so here's the 5 volt wire. Nice. Here's the ground. Nice. And here is the S-Bus. Beautiful. Now let's start trimming them. So let's start with S-Bus since it's up top. Now it's on the bottom. Yeah, it's this one. Alright, so yeah, let's trim this guy off a little bit. It's too long. There we go. So this was S-Bus, which was the square here. I'm gonna get a lot of shit from you guys because that just happened. Why don't you use the helping hands? I don't need helping hands for this. Just the last 3 wires. Okay, so here's S-Bus. Next on the line is 5 volt. There we go. Beautiful. Next on the line is ground, if I remember correctly. Yeah. If not, then we're just gonna end up burning it, and that'll be a pretty fun ending. Alright, so we are all good now. Let's go ahead and just make them a little bit nicer. Alright, beautiful. So let's grab a little heat shrink and the hot air gun. Isn't that satisfying? I love that so much. Especially these clear ones. It's so difficult to find these. If anyone knows, just leave me a link down there. That should be good. Alright, so beautiful. Okay, it's still kind of hot. Alright, so let's go here now. Let's see what's up. So there's S bus 5-volt ground. Now for some reason, if you had I bus, let's just say you had I bus, this is where people get lost. If you put on S bus, it would not work. You see that right there? You have RX6 and this is TX6. So you would set that to RX6 here if you're using I bus, and then you would set serial RX on UART6, and you should be good to go. So you have a TX6 and RX6 here. So that's something to take note of here. Here you also have 5-volt and ground, and LED here if you wanted it. So that's also good there if you need those. And you have RSSI right there. So yeah, that should clarify a couple things for some people. Let's go ahead and cut these same length. There we go. So what's easier for us to solder first? Let's start with S bus here. Okay. After this, that's it. We just boot it up, check if it's working, check S bus is on what port, because I had I bus last time running on it. That's why you have solder right there on it. And yeah, see what's up. Alright, so let's start with, I'm gonna remove this guy here, make our life a little bit easier. I'm actually gonna solder on towards the inside, it's better because I don't want to hit any components. So we're gonna start with S bus right there, just like that. I highly recommend you use a small soldering iron tip, and don't do what I do here. Alright, so there's S bus. Now we need 5-volt. Here's 5-volt, and now we need ground. Alright, so we should be all good to go now. We're actually finished now. That's it. So what I'm going to do is actually we're going to put it together, take a look at it, and the next episode we're going to do everything from binding to flashing to setting up your modes and switches and all that kind of crazy stuff. Alright guys, so it's complete here and it's just looking absolutely beautiful. Super clean. I still have not checked its weight just yet, but I really love a couple things that you don't really notice until you build it on this frame, which is absolutely insane. For example, you know, you have the whole 90-degree tilt thing, so if you wanted just to fix it up, you could just remove 2 screws, loosen this back one here, and the whole thing will just flip back. so that's very good. Now another thing which is super awesome, usually you have problems with the pigtail, and here the MMX port on the AKK is retarded. It's not that 90 degrees, so when it plugs in, it just takes a shitload of space going out. However, I was able to route it, and then here I could play with this angle as much as I want until I get it perfect. I'm just trying to, hold on, let me just get up. Alright, for example, check this out. This is by far my, I know it's something tiny, but holy crap, this will just, so we can change basically the angle on our VTX to whatever we want. And this is, I just love this feature. It's insane. You guys have no idea how many times I've had just problems trying to get this SMA in. This is, to be honest, it's well thought out. This whole frame is well thought out. However, there's something also you need to take into consideration. I don't think the aluminum is that strong. It felt like it was kind of starting to strip a bit on the bottom, and that has happened to me on the previous ones. Like, I don't want to, I think it's already stripping in there. So the aluminum isn't the strongest aluminum, I can tell you that for sure. It's pretty obvious right now, and that's something to take note of. But overall, it's nice. Just don't, I guess, tighten it too much. But it's a beauty. It's really nice. I mean, for some reason though, the tiny camera doesn't make it look like it has some fat balls below it. But this thing's gonna just be insane in the air. It came out absolutely beautiful. I have nothing to complain about. It's absolutely clean inside, as you can see here. Wire management just came out beautiful there. All we're gonna need to do is just put some tape or some zip ties here. I recommend tape so this doesn't catch and ruin your motor. Well, there's something also super cool about these motors. They have these little plastic thingy, and when you start insert, this is gonna be very difficult to show you. There we go. That's a perfect angle right there. See how the screw is coming in, and that thing, there's this plastic thing that's bending over, and that's protecting this feature is just amazing. However, you know, one thing that T-Motor needs to get straight is the C-clips. They should please remove the C-clips and give us some, you know, just with some hex driver, just go in there, break it open, clean up the motor, and put it back together. I mean, that's the only thing now. T-Motor has been very reliable lately. I've had the shittiest experience in the beginning with them, but I gave them a chance, and everything is going pretty good. The F40s V3s were awesome. They felt pretty strong, but not super crazy strong. They felt efficient, but these should be on a whole new level. These are just humongous. So this is just going to be insane. They feel very nice and smooth. So yeah, so right now we're just going to go ahead and next episode we're going to go through and set up everything here from binding to beta flight to just everything, and then after that we're going to go ahead and maiden it for its first flight. So that's going to be pretty cool. To be honest, I can't wait to get this guy flying. And yeah, stay tuned. Next episode I might announce him as a giveaway, so you never know. So just stay tuned and come back, and maybe someone might win this guy. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to let me know, and I will see you next time. See you guys. Take care.